I think it's getting a little bit better, I hope. And I really do hope that Alice Wu makes another film. Too. She's so great, and you know her story, right? That it took her 5 years to do that film. You know her story? She was an engineer for Microsoft, and she was getting really great pay, but she really wanted to make a film. And so she saved money to live for 5 years without working there, and then she tried to make that film. But like she says there very nicely, I think they were ready to make a film if she would just make the characters not Chinese, not speak Chinese, and be straight. Then we'll make the film. What a great story. But that would have totally changed it into something else. And so she stuck to her guns and eventually did make the film towards the end of the 5 years when her money was running out. She's so great, but I don't know how well the film did in the market. I think it did well in rentals. But, it's very hard once you do a film to get it out there, showing in theaters. So I don't know what the answer to it is. I want to see her and other Asian American women filmmakers really get an opportunity to make those great films that are in their head or on their writing pad. Sit down. Yes.
Quick question. First of all, hi Sheila. Hi Lynn. Thanks for being here. Do you feel or do you think that in order to really get Asian American women in films or just Asian American films out there having to go the same path similar to what Tyler Perry did for the African American community, kind of having to bankroll their own and put their own personal money or do whatever they need to do, get their own movie studios? Do you think that that's going to be the only way to really get it out there for people to really get a bite out of it?
I feel like getting a movie made is a miracle. It really is. And getting it, I mean, every step of it, it's really, like, for anyone who's made a movie, it feels like an impossible feat. And when it actually happens, you can't believe it's actually happening. There are so many ways to get a movie funded and made. I don't know, that could be one way, but I don't think it's the only way. Sheafel, thoughts?
I think all of the above. I mean, I don't think there's any harm in that. I think it'd be great, and I also think it'd be great to, I think any opportunity we can have, we should be exploring. And I think that the Tyler Perry story comes from the fact that he wanted to tell his stories. He was a writer, and he was a director, and he wanted to tell and have control over it. There's another, even Kevin Smith, right, the director, just has a movie come out just right now called Red State. He decided to distribute it himself. He had plenty of studios that were interested in doing it, and he very frankly said to go through that system and to have it released and distributed that way when it takes this much money and you spend a minimum of this on a budget to make the money back, he didn't want to do it. He's like, I made the movie for $4 million and I'd like to make at least that, and I will have a much better chance of doing that without having to deal with studio costs and P&A and all the stuff that comes along with a major theatrical release. And so he wanted the control over what he wanted to put out there for it. So there's lots of filmmakers. I could go on and on about people that are doing it their own way. I think the most important thing is if you have a story to tell and you want to write it and you want to produce it and you want to direct it, you can. It's a very difficult thing, but it's worth doing. But if you want to stick to your guns and have control over it, you'll find the best way to get that story out there. And if that means doing it yourself or having a great studio deal, there's pros and cons to all of that. But in the meantime, if you want to create your own studio with your own content, go for it. Hell yeah. Why not? I think all of those things, I would hope to get to a point where there's so much content and so many of us doing things that would be our problem. That would be fantastic.
I feel so empowered. I'm really sorry. I really do. I feel like I should change professions. I wanted to thank all of you for coming out today. I know you had a choice, but you came to our panel, and I'd like to thank first Professor Kim for her part 2. Chen, our actor extraordinaire, and Sheafel as well, our trailblazers. So thank you for coming out, and make sure you see Surrogate Valentine. Don't you have like a text thing as well?
Oh yes, at the screening tomorrow. This is very strange for me a little bit, but right before Surrogate Valentine is a film that my husband and I made.
Is he here?
He is. He's right over there.
Hey.
It's tonight, and it's going to play right before Surrogate Valentine.
Can we squeeze in one more question? Can we have an extra question, possibly?
I think they need the theater, but
If you have a question, you can ask one of us.
I'm getting sort of intuitive sense that we're touching on a very important subject, and that is, I'm not very well versed, but it seems like the Hollywood record labels suffered a very bad fate with the free downloading on the internet. And someone mentioned YouTube, and it destroyed the record industry in the United States. And I'm wondering if film is moving in a similar direction, and whether or not Hollywood studios are going to suffer a similar outcome.
Well, I will say just quickly, because I know we have to get out of here. I mean, it's a big question. Number one, though, even on the same theme of YouTube, please do not pirate movies. Please, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, I know at least half of us in here are guilty of it. And it really is. It is a disaster, especially for any filmmaker, a small filmmaker. There's no way for us to make more movies. You know, do not copy them. Do not pirate them. Don't put them on the internet. And because there are other ways of doing it. There are great things. Like now YouTube are doing now, they're actually producing their own content. And I think that is the way that YouTube would do their own kind of web stuff, if that answers your question. Because there's a Hulu.com, which have actual deals with networks to rebroadcast their stuff that actually pays what it should pay, but then you can get it for free. There's, like the Netflix has it, the Hulu has it, YouTube is now doing it. So I think it's about making sure that the content and the deal that you make with the people is respectful to the fact that this is not something that should be getting for free.
But there is that potential, though.
Well, there's always a potential for it, but it's up to us to make sure that we're really, it's really up to us to do the right thing. It's in our own hands, so let's all do that.
thank you. Just like buy new books, don't buy
Yay.
used. Okay. From the academic standpoint, right, Elaine?